I love tuning into my menstrual cycle. I am currently in my spring, and it is so beautiful to see the changes present each season. Springtime is the follicular phase. You begin to feel a slow buildup of energy, especially as your hormones begin to rise after your menstruation. So I'm currently in the spring phase of my menstrual cycle. I did a whole video about the different phases of the menstrual cycle, cyclical living, how it correlates to nature. And so if you want to know more about cyclical living and how to get in touch with your menstrual cycle, I highly recommend watching that video. So at the moment I am in my spring phase, which is my follicular. I'm feeling so much better now that I have gone through inner winter, which was my menstruation. And now I can really feel like the dark clouds that gather when you're menstruating and when you're also in like your luteal phase, which is inner autumn. I can feel those clouds starting to lift. I'm starting to feel like I have a lot more energy, a lot more motivation, and just a lot more positive vibes now that I'm in the springtime phase. And then when I get to summer, I'm going to be reaching my peak energy, my peak libido, peak creativity, peak everything. I absolutely love summer. But I also really love inner winter. And so the beautiful part about cyclical living is finding magic within every single phase of your cycle. I am someone who also really loves that time when I can hibernate, rest, kind of be moody and a little bit sad and feel like I have sort of like an excuse to feel that way. I also love tuning into the medicine that is present throughout every wax and wane of our personality, every ebb and flow, every season of our menstrual cycle has magic to offer and has medicine to reap. There is so much medicine in the hibernation, in the cocooning, and there's also so much medicine in the planting of seeds and the harvest. And so I love living in accordance to my menstrual cycle because I can really reap the benefits of every single phase that I move through. Like I said, I'm currently in my springtime, and so I'm feeling a lot better. And so I'm starting to feel super creative, thinking about new projects to do. Springtime is interesting because you're not at peak energy yet. Your hormones are starting to rise and they peak when you get to ovulation, which is your ovulatory phase, your inner summer. Springtime is still a beautiful time because you are still getting that rise of hormones. However, you haven't reached that peak, and so still be super gentle with yourself. Now that I'm in my springtime, this is really the phase where you want to think about what you would like to call in and manifest, or kind of like the planning phase of your creative projects, but it's definitely not a huge action stage. So you don't need to be taking a lot of action, you just want to be dreaming, and this is why I really love the phase of spring. It is that maiden energy where you're more in the dream of what you would like to call in, the dream of creativity, and you're just starting to feel really good and vibey, and so I'm really enjoying it. So good to be in my inner spring because I had a really tough 2 weeks, this past 2 weeks that have just passed. I have a breast lump in my left breast that I am going to actually be getting removed on the 22nd of August. So that just made me feel really, really sad. I went to a lot of appointments over the last 2 weeks while I was just pre-bleed and also during my bleed. So that's that inner autumn, inner winter phase. And so I was just feeling really heavy with emotions and really, really struggling. And so now that I have kind of booked my appointments and I know I'm going in for the surgery, so even though I know that a lot of heaviness is still to come, I'm still going to enjoy my spring, which is this week, and my summer, which is next week. Because I feel like I really need that, especially since I've gone through so much darkness and I'm going into so much darkness with everything that's happened and everything that's going to happen. I just want to really embrace where I am and enjoy my cycle and my season. I thought that it would also be fun to share some of my favorite springtime activities with you. I'm going to be creating a beautiful yoni steam and yoni egg ceremony tonight, so I'm going to share a little bit about that. I think I'll also have a cacao ceremony. So this is going to be all about
my favorite spiritual things that I love to do throughout my menstrual cycle, and the different times in which we can reap the medicine of different spiritual rituals throughout our cycle, because it's definitely going to be different depending on where you are. The bleeding phase is a great time to let go and shed and do a releasing and forgiveness ritual, whereas the spring and summer is a beautiful time to call in, to plant those seeds, and to also reap the harvest. A yoni steam and a yoni egg ritual, especially a yoni steam, is perfect to do when you're in that spring summer phase. You definitely don't want to be doing a yoni steam when you're bleeding during your menstruation. So of course spiritual rituals will differ depending on where you are within your cycle. So I'm just going to share a couple that I love, and I'm going to have a beautiful day. It is a Saturday today, so I just want to embrace the weekend, embrace where I am in my cycle, and enjoy my spiritual rituals. I hope that you enjoy this video.
The menstrual cycle is a beautiful time of flowing with all the ways in which we wax and wane, embracing the time for stillness and hibernation during our bleed, as well as embracing the time when we are ready to frolic outdoors, socialize and connect with others, which occurs during inner spring and inner summer, which is your follicular phase and ovulatory phase. Inner spring is an incredible time to plan for new projects, explore interests, and bask in your creative passion. While you do not have all the energy of the ovulatory phase, your energy is beginning to rise, and that's why this is a perfect time for planning. Whereas the inner summer would be a perfect time for action. So embrace your creative dreams, plan, visualize, create a mood board, and allow yourself to dream all that you would like to dream, letting yourself know that during your inner summer, you will begin to take the actions towards making these dreams a reality.
I just had the most wholesome yoni egg ceremony. It was such a beautiful experience. If you don't know what a yoni egg is, this is what it looks like. Yoni eggs are traditionally made out of the crystal jade, though there are other crystals that people make yoni eggs from. The reason why the yoni egg or the jade egg is so magical is because it is all about de-armoring the yoni in such a gentle way. I absolutely love using my yoni egg, and I do this in a very ceremonial way. I set up a safe container for myself. I put my sheepskin rug down or some fur, whatever makes me feel good. I make sure that it's nice and warm. And then I just basically do whatever I'm called to do. I've been working with the yoni egg for a while now, and I've done a yoni initiation course, and so I'm quite well versed with the yoni egg. But basically I find this practice so absolutely healing, and something that came up for me during my ceremony and my ritual was just the beauty of the circle and the cyclical nature of the menstrual cycle, and how we're always in a process process of death and rebirth. And it's just so beautiful to connect with these energies that are going on regardless of whether we are aware of them or not. So something that I love is that saying that goes, the time will pass anyway. That's kind of the foundation for my cyclical living spiritual practice, is that the time will pass anyway. I will be going through the cycle of death and rebirth. I will be waxing and waning whether I'm aware of it or not. So I might as well use the medicine and the magic that really is occurring at every level of the cycle in my own practice and really utilize what's otherwise going on, whether I pay attention to it or not. So another incredible practice is that of yoni steaming. Yoni steaming is beautiful. It's a beautiful way to connect to herbs, your herbal allies. There are different types of herbs that you can use, from blood building to emmenagogues. I definitely recommend getting in touch with an herbalist or someone who you can communicate with, but yoni steaming has been a powerful tool that I've used to heal my vaginismus and my vulvodynia. I suffered for years with these two things, and so I'm so happy that I'm at a place where I don't feel that pain anymore, but that is purely because of the beautiful practices that I've done. I highly recommend listening to my podcast, Ceremony of Love, where I go in a lot more detail about all of these practices in a much more unfiltered way. Get into all things yoni magic there on my podcast. Definitely not going to do a yoni steam tonight. I tend to not do yoni steams and yoni eggs on the same day. Perhaps if I do a yoni steam tomorrow, I will film it and include it in the video, though I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to see how my body feels. And that's one of the main things that I love about cyclical living and having this practice, is that it's all about tuning into your body and what you need at any given moment. I'm going to make myself a cup of cacao now and do a little ritual. I'm going to light the fire and just enjoy the rest of the evening. It's getting quite cold, and so it will be so cozy to be by the fire. Cacao is a wonderful ally to have a relationship with, to form a relationship with. She is the most beautiful healing plant ally, plant medicine. I absolutely adore connecting to her. She is so rich in magnesium, which is perfect for if you're having your menstrual cycle, whether you're bleeding, whether you're ovulating, wherever you are in your cycle. You can never get enough magnesium, and that's so important for those of us who experience menstruation. So I'm gonna make myself a delicious cup of cacao, have another wholesome ritual with myself. I'm feeling really tapped in and connected because I feel like this whole day has just been dedicated to my beautiful spring phase, and I'm definitely feeling it. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll take you along with me.
Living in accordance to your menstrual cycle is a beautiful way for you to reclaim your creative freedom, your energy, and understand that during the menstrual cycle, there is so much medicine waiting for you at each phase. Each and every phase of the menstrual cycle offers new wisdom and insight into your everyday life, from your creative passions, manifestation, sensuality, and much, much more.